Welcome to Weaving Happiness Through Grief, where we navigate the delicate balance between love, loss, and the resilient heart. I'm Stephanie, an author and storyteller who found joy and healing after the unimaginable heartbreak of losing a once-in-a-lifetime love. This podcast dives into the raw truth of grief, the beauty of cherished memories, and the hope of new beginnings. Through my journey, rediscovering happiness and opening my heart again, I've learned that grief and joy can coexist, and love can find us when we least expect it. Join me as we honor the past, embrace the present, and step boldly into the future with courage and vulnerability. Let's celebrate the resilience of the human spirit and the beauty of living fully, even after a loss. Welcome back. It was about a month since Jeff's tracheotomy. He was stable. He was home. Most of his days now at this point were just resting. Wasn't doing a whole lot more outside of some smoothies we'd make, and the food menu was getting more and more limited. But he was stable and comfortable, but in a ton of pain. When I say comfortable, I mean just living. But the pain medications we were on were horrific. It was around Father's Day, and it was actually on Father's Day, and my parents lived about 12 minutes from me, and they were having a barbecue with the family in the backyard and whatnot, and some family friends were over. I asked Jeff, do you mind if I leave for a little bit? Because he was stable enough for me to leave for a few hours, but I didn't want to leave him more than that. So I went over to my parents' home for Father's Day, spent some time with my dad, saw some family and friends there. And while I was there, one of the family friends came and asked to speak with me quietly in the back corner of the backyard. And we talked for a few minutes, and I had no idea what she wanted to talk to me about, but I really wanted to get home to Jeff. As we were talking, I could see that it wasn't a normal conversation for her, and it wasn't just asking about me or Jeff, how we were doing. She wanted to share something with me. What she shared with me was something that completely shifted everything for us. She asked me if I had heard of Dying with Dignity. And my immediate reaction in my head was, you mean Dr. Kevorkian? That's what I think most of us kind of tend to think about the first thing. And she explained to me that she had a friend who had a similar situation to mine and Jeff's, where the husband also had a terrible situation with cancer and was dying. And they did Dying with Dignity. He was suffering. And she told me about it to let me know that this is an option for you if you want it. Being a lawyer, I thought, God, I should have known about this, but I didn't. I didn't even know that Dying with Dignity was legal in California. And then I found out later it was legal in 11 different jurisdictions. When I heard the news, up until that point, all we did for the first 3.5, 4 years in the beginning of our relationship was just want to be together, have time together, love one another. And the next 3 years had been cancer, diagnosis, treatment, checking off things, our list of hope and bucket lists that we wanted to do, and trying to find moments and pockets of joy in between. And now all of a sudden I hear this information that I think, how am I supposed to shift and change into letting go? I left my parents' home with this information, and it took me days to process it and finally come to the point where I could talk to Jeff about it. When I brought it to his attention and I sat down and I tried to find out, there's never a good moment, but in my head I'm thinking I'll find the right time. And one day after another led to another, and finally I said, you just got to do this and just pull off the Band-Aid and rip it off. So I sat down one day and I just said, hon, have you heard of this? Do you know what it's about? What I did not realize is that Jeff was already contemplating this. This is something that I didn't know he was thinking about, and once again, he was holding that inside to protect me from it because we were so focused on trying to save him and buy time and be together. And that was the last thing we wanted, was to have our last sunset, our last talk, our last I love yous. Shortly after that, we had more conversations about it, and we finally decided, let's talk to the doctors at City of Hope. We went to them, we had this conversation about dying with dignity, what it's like, and what the process is if it's something we'd want to consider. What we learned was there is a extremely detailed process to do it, which I would imagine there would be. I mean, it's a very powerful thing to do. It's a very courageous and brave thing to do for the person who's suffering. But it's also a very selfless thing to do for the people who love the patient, because you have to let them go. And in having these conversations with Jeff and with the doctors, and realizing the suffering he was in and the amount of pain medications between Norco, Oxy, fentanyl patches, the countless medications, nothing was relieving his pain. From his head to his toe to his teeth, the nerves, gabapentin he was on, I mean, it was relentless. He couldn't find comfort. He would walk around at nighttime, wandering the halls. He was getting confused at times and almost wanted to go drive the truck at times in the middle of the night, thinking he had to go somewhere because he was confused. There was just no more quality of life. When we talked to the doctors, we thought, let's just get information and let's see where this leads us, and if it's a path we want to go down, because it's not something we never contemplated. We spoke with the doctors, and the process is, it was 3 different psychologists, psychiatrists that we met with. We went with each one of them. They talked through Jeff, knowing he was terminal, knowing it was going to be soon. We didn't know when, of course. What we learned is, once he's passed the tests, which are, 1, you have to be terminal, over 18, of the right sound mind and body, if you will, have the mental capacity to make this kind of decision, and then be able to physically do it yourself if you want to do it at home. These are some of the criteria that we had to make sure he was ready for, and he fell into those standards and categories within the guidelines, because they are very strict guidelines. We decided to buy the prescription, and we had the brown bag at our home. It got delivered by a delivery man. I kept it hidden far, far away in the back corners of the wall in my pantry, where I did not want to ever see it. And I just thought, if it's there, it's there, if we ever want to use it. It was our last treatment coming up at City of Hope. And we knew it was our last treatment because the doctors had told us that cancer had spread so far throughout his brain and his spine that they could only radiate so much more. And once they radiated certain parts, they couldn't continue to radiate because they would cause so much brain damage or so much damage to his spine that he would either become paralyzed, or the brain damage would, between the brain and the spine, he'd basically be incapacitated. He would have either been paralyzed or not been able to function on his own, use the restroom, eat, speak. These were things that were going to happen eventually one day if we continued on, and there was no more to radiate. There was no more hope. There was nothing left except to watch him sit there suffering every single day. And it was relentless suffering. My heart broke watching this vibrant, strong, healthy man that I fell in love with turn into a shell of a human being. He looked different, he acted different, and he was dying, and there was nothing we could do to stop him dying. It was the day before my birthday. It was August 16th. It was our last treatment at City of Hope, and we knew that because we've been doing more radiation, trying to get those last parts that we could to kind of buy ourselves just a little bit more time before he got to a place where he might be paralyzed. We go in for our last treatment. Jeff rings the bell, as you do in your last treatment when you finish as a cancer patient. And most people ring the bell and they're excited and they're happy. And for us, it was terrifying because we knew we were leaving City of Hope on our last day, and we were going to be on hospice after that, because there was no more the doctors could do, no more that the medications or the radiation treatments could do. The next day was my birthday, and Jeff, being Jeff, honeybee, stay upstairs. I don't want you to come down yet. And when I say he said this, it was with exhaustion. He was in pain, but there was also some family in our home that had been visiting from Canada, spending time with us, and they helped him coordinate what he wanted to set up. And I know that they were so wonderful, helping create a birthday for me, a very special birthday. And so when I woke up that day, I love my birthday. Like, I'm one of those weirdos that, like, I love my birthday. I'm like, it's my day. Everybody celebrate me. That was the birthday where I just never wanted it to happen, because I knew it was my last one with Jeff. I knew there would never be another. So we woke up. He set up my coffee like he does. He doesn't even drink coffee, but he sets mine up every day. He had different things laid out, like some champagne and his bacon that he liked to make. And he had asked everybody to kind of chip in. The kids were there. And he set up a beautiful setting. And the whole day, as I'm trying to compartmentalize and enjoy my birthday and enjoy my time with Jeff, all I'm thinking is, this is it. It's happening soon, but I don't know when. And we always called each other husband and wife. We did it from, early on. We felt connected. We felt so in love. But we never actually got married. When cancer came and he had proposed to me, and he proposed to me at the engagement, all the kids were present. We were in Chicago on a trip, and he gave me this beautiful ring. But then cancer came shortly after that. And so for my last birthday, he gave me a wedding band that I still wear, and I will always wear. And he had it engraved, always and forever, honeybee. And I remember sitting there on my birthday, looking at him, at the beautiful cake and the ring, and thinking, this is it. Our happily ever after is going to end real soon. And I knew that. You're never ready for it to end, but somehow we had to find the courage to end Jeff's suffering.
As we close this episode of Weaving Happiness Through Grief, I want to thank you for joining me on this journey of remembrance, resilience, and rediscovery. Loss is a path none of us choose, but together we can walk through it, honoring the love that was and of the life that still awaits us. If today's story touched a part of your own journey, know that you're not alone. Grief, though profound, doesn't close us off from joy. It teaches us how to hold space for both love and loss. And sometimes it opens our hearts to unexpected new beginnings. Join me next time as we continue to explore healing, acceptance, and the beautiful bittersweet moments that remind us life can still be filled with happiness. And remember, while we honor the love that has shaped us, we open ourselves to the hope that the future holds. Please head over to the show notes to find out more of the ways I offer guidance on the topics I discuss in the podcast, or visit thestephanieduran.com. Until next time, take gentle steps forward, hold your memories close, and know that joy and love in all its forms continues on.